Do you find it difficult to work with acrylic paints? Then welcome to Spotlight Saturday, where I'm breaking down key skills that will make you love painting with acrylics. Welcome to Conversations with Canvas, your go-to space for painting demos, painting tips, and art supply reviews. Today, we will be mastering 5 techniques that will help you understand acrylic paints better and take your paintings to a pro level. So let's dive in with the first one. Blend it like a pro. To create a perfect smooth transition, I use a damp flat brush, a dry fan brush, and a fine mist bottle. When I started off painting with acrylics, blending two colors smoothly was a struggle. Acrylic paints dry pretty quick, so the trick is basically to keep the paint wet long enough to create a smooth, soft transition. To get the perfect blend, apply both the colors pretty close to each other with a damp flat brush. Spritz gently over the two colors and using a soft dry fan brush, blend them together. This is the easiest way to blend acrylic paints. Now if you want to create a dreamy sunset or create soft shadows, then blending is your best friend. Moving on to the next technique, glazing. Now glazing is the secret sauce to add depth and richness in your paintings. Now the trick to glazing is painting a thin transparent color over already dried layers. I'm using the Liquitech basic fluorescent paints for glazing as these paints are transparent. You can watch the review of these paints on my channel. I love how glazing is creating those subtle oranges and greens and violets over here which cannot be achieved with flat colors. You could also mix in a gloss medium or a glazing medium for that perfect transparent effect. Moving on to creating some special effects, that is dry brush technique and scumbling. Now both these techniques are pretty similar because they use a very dry brush. For the dry brush technique, we need to load a dry brush with very little paint and drag it across the surface to create a broken texture. Now this technique is perfect for mimicking weathered wood, fur, or misty highlights. Scumbling is similar to the dry brush technique, that is we load the dry brush with very little paint. But here scumbling creates a softer texture as we paint in circular motion with the tip of the brush. It is a great technique to use if you want to paint clouds. Now the next one is my favorite, impasto. Thick juicy strokes of paint using a palette knife. The palette knife can either have a straight blade or a curved blade. I prefer the straight blade for scraping and the curved one for painting. We need to use heavy body paint for impasto technique and you need to load the back of the palette knife with paint to create the thick juicy texture. Impasto feels like you're spreading butter on toast and it is great to add visual interest to the painting. I use this technique to add highlights, but you can also use it to paint expressive landscapes and abstracts. Now if you want to make the paint more thick and really sculptural, you can mix your acrylic paint with a heavy gel medium. I'll share a bonus tip with you. If you want to highlight the thick peaks, use the dry brush technique over the dried impasto. The last one is a real cool fun technique which is Sgraffito or Graffito, which basically means scratching. For this technique, we lay down thick wet juicy paint and while the paint is still wet, we scratch to the paint to reveal the underneath color. Now if you're painting a larger area and you want to do this technique in a larger area, you could also add a slow dry medium. Now just use the end of a brush, a palette knife, a silicone brush or even a toothpick to scratch away the paint. It is a great way to add details like tree branches, hair strands or even make abstract marks in a painting. And there you have it, an in-depth look at the 5 must-know acrylic painting techniques to level up your art. Which one are you most excited to try? Do let me know in the comments. Until next time, take care, keep creating, and I'll see you soon for more art magic on Conversations with Canvas. Bye!